How to text difficult girls on Tinder. So in this video, I'll be breaking down some of the most difficult conversations that we've had on our client profiles on Tinder. I'll be showing you some of the iMessages as well and the Tinder conversations. We're going to be covering 3 main key girls, as you can see over here, from the actual apps to matching them and the actual date as well, as you can see over here. And all 3 of them were and very difficult to deal with. So let's start with Liv over here. As you can see, this is her profile and this is her bio, and this is what we're going to be working with. So let's get straight into it. So we started off with our intrigue opener over here. As you can see, we said to her, did not know that girls knew about the cheek biting method. So she had some defined features, as you can tell from her profile over here. She had quite a defined jaw, you know, a very solid bone structure, and it even looked like she was cheek biting in her pictures, as you can see in some of them. You know, she's biting on her cheeks, typical posing picture. So what we did is we called her out on it because we wanted to make our opener something that is going to intrigue curiosity. It's going to create banter, and as you can see, that is what it did exactly. We created banter and curiosity right there, and then we started to explain ourselves a little bit more slowly, and we started to try and tease her, flirt with her by playing on her jaw structure, as you can see over here. And of course, this is going to create interest right away because the girl wants to obviously try and understand what we're trying to say, right? You know, we're trying to create an insecurity barrier, and we're trying to see if she's going to find any interest in us, and she did, as you can see over here. Now, she does take it a little bit too autistic, as you can see over here. She starts explaining herself a bit too weirdly. This is a bit autistic, but we just frame it around having children together to suggest a sexual ascension, as you can see. Now, unfortunately, we did run into a little bit of a block here. As you can see, she's against children, so this is not great. We're going to have to try and play around that. Now, luckily, we do try and probe lightly on it. We don't go too hardcore on it because we don't want to piss the girl off from the get-go. And unfortunately, with the topics of genetics, even though it was a wrong read, it was something that naturally would come up, right? Having children, because we were trying to sell the dream of having romantic life together, you know, family and whatnot. This is what girls want most of the time, but she's against having children, so now we have to build around that, and we have to change the strategy because she's a bit of a liberal, you know, whatever the fuck. So we have to reframe how we're going to handle this conversation here, and what we're going to do now is we're going to try and mirror her traits and her other behaviors as well by acting relatable. So now we're saying things like, to be honest with you, a mini me would be annoying. We're trying to, you know, probe and see whether she's going to resonate with this a little bit better, and we're trying to show that we accept her frame and idea. So that's what we're doing with this message over here. Now, of course, Liv over here is showing signs of clear autism, so we lightly suggest that by saying the babies would have super autism. Now, this works really well because she confirms that she has autism. Most girls self-diagnose themselves with ADHD and autism, which means obviously, you know, our fucking read was perfect and every girl seems to have some sort of mental problem. Anyway, we also reframe the conversation towards a date by asking what she's looking for on the apps, as you can see. And of course, she thinks the apps is terrible and she thinks it's a shit place. So what we're trying to do here is now we're going to make fun of the guys that she's commonly talking to create, you know, relatability. So what we're doing is we're continuing on playing on the children aspect, but she ignores that because she clearly doesn't like that topic. So, you know, this is probably fucking something that you shouldn't continue anymore. You should take that as a hint. She clearly left that conversation alone. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on her point about the apps being shit. This is what we're going to play on because this is what we need to focus on. This is what she clearly wants to talk about. So this is where she starts showing signs of even more autism, as you can see, because the app scares her. If you're scared of socializing and talking to people on dating apps, you definitely have social issues. I'm not a doctor, but, you know, it's just, you know, concerning how her parents raised her, because if you're scared of fucking guys on Tinder, you're a bit weird, or girls. Anyway, we just start fucking framing it as, oh, don't worry, it's not looking too good for you, but once we go on a date and whatnot, it's going to get better. You know, like, we're just trying to sell her the dream. That's it. We're just literally trying to sell a dream. And now she just obviously tries to flex a little bit, saying, oh, guys message me saying that they want to have sex with me. This is just her trying to farm status. That's it. It's just a poor attempt. I'll be honest with you, it does not fucking create status because it shows me that guys clearly want to sleep with you and they don't want to go out with you long term. If a guy is messaging you smash, it means that you're just not, you know, the type of girl that is meant for a solid relationship. It just shows that you're a girl that's going to get and that's, you know, what you're good for, and that's what this client did with her, unfortunately, because that's just the way things are. I mean, low prices attract cheap customers, guys, and if a girl's flexing that on you, saying, oh, bad guys come in my DMs, just disregard it and just focus on the date, because you're gonna her and leave her anyways. So yeah, focus on the goal, guys. Don't worry about her flexing on the fact that she gets messaged by hundreds of guys for, you know, short-term hookups. So as you can see over here, we just fucking ignore the comment, focus on the goal, the date. That's what we want to do. We don't want to fucking try and give her more status than she's fighting for, because that's what it is. It's a battle of status. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start playing into desire seeding, and we start going further into the date, which means that we're keeping the focus there on the conversation, and we're trying to keep the momentum, because it is starting to dry out and it is getting a bit dead, you know. So we want to reframe that date and bring it there. And as you can see, she actually is taking the interest, is working quite well. And what we need to do now is just keep playing into the idea of a date. So of course we mentioned cocktails over here because her profile suggests that she's the type of girl that drinks a lot. She loves clubbing, and she was actually holding a bottle of alcohol in her pictures. As you can see over here, there's a picture of her holding a nice bottle of fucking whiskey or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not professional when it comes to drinking because I'm not a loser. Anyway, our message works really well, and it shows a high level of read from us because, as you can see, she sends 5 text messages over here. This is obviously a sign of extremely high interest. 5 messages in a row explaining things about drinking and her habits is a really good sign of interest. That's as simple as it gets, right? So through analyzing that, we just pretty much understand now she wants it. She's going to try and play a bit difficult. As you can see, she tries to backtrack here saying, let's see if you're worth my time. Sorry, my love, but you just sent 5 messages in a row. You can't reclaim the status back. It is too late. You lost it. That is just how it works. Regardless of that, we're just going to keep playing on it, and we're going to make this girl our clients, because that's exactly what we do. And what we're going to do as high status people, we ignore her little comment about making it worth our time and whatnot, and we're just going to focus on the date topic. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to keep the focus there because that's the only thing we want. I think a lot of guys would get a little bit more pushy here and a little bit upset and start attacking this. I think that is the worst mistake you can do. Do not attack this, because if you attack this, you're pretty much losing the status she's given you by sending 5 messages in a row. I promise you, if she did not send 5 spammy messages in a row, she would have not said that. She's trying to backtrack. She knows she up. That's just how it works in social situations, especially with her being autistic. She's probably overthinking this whole thing. Anyway, so as you can see, we just keep the focus on the date. We just say, yeah, let's go on a date. Doesn't matter. The current reads pretty much suggest that she's a fucking little with a lot of trauma and daddy issues. She's a sub with low IQ. Who the fuck cares? We're just trying to fuck her anyways, right? That's what our client's goal is. This girl's been mentally damaged. She's clearly a, as you can see up here, and it's just showing that she has a protection mechanism as well, that she wants her way, and she's pretty much trying to set up some stupid traps and whatnot. So obviously the best move for her is pretty much to just play into the rules a little bit by working our way in. We just pretty much want to win her trust over till we her. That's literally the goal. We just want to play into it a little bit, you know, and give her what she wants. We're trying to manipulate her, as you can see, and what we're trying to do is push for it and try and see if we can hold frame. Now we try and push for the close here, get the Instagram for our client. It's a solid lead, it's a solid date that he ended up going on. You'll see that a little bit later on if you give me a minute. And pretty much we set up his Instagram profile, and we do Instagram outsourcing for him as well, so it's extremely easy to convert. We did his entire profile pictures, got him to a couple thousand followers already within the first month, so yeah. We also utilized exotic appeal here by asking for a number in German. Her profile said she was German on her bio or languages or whatever the want to call it, and we pretty much just said to her, can we have your number in German? And we said, how is my German, right? So obviously giving exotic appeal. The reason we want her number is because we want both. We want the number and the Instagram because it just holds a lot of status, right? You know, you got the thing that her parents message her on, and you got the thing that her friends talk to her on. So it's just a double win, right? You know, you just want that double win, bro. If you can't get it, that's fine. We obviously managed to frame on it, and we made her say Instagram please in German. So like a good girl, you know, we just said to her, just because you're so nice. Next girl, we have Mia, as you can see over here. We have the actual Tinder conversation and WhatsApp, and for the Americans, WhatsApp is the iMessage equivalent for when you get a girl's phone number. As you can see, Mia, some things about her profile, gym girl, you know, she's clearly got nothing else going on in her life. She just loves going to the gym. She's a bit of a gym. But as I explained, gym theme for her profile, typical easy read. So what are we going to do? We're going to give her a nice gym opener saying that I found my gym wifey, and this is pretty much just framing it as a cute little gym couple. As you can see, she responds really well. So yeah, it's just working really well. Good cue and a social read from us, because this gym approach is exactly what we want to do. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to progress into status framing by giving foreign appeal and creating novelty. Status is an easy way to create attraction with girls, guys. You can get so far ahead with it, and you can get away with so much more if you create status and foreign appeal. So if that's something that you want to take away from the studio, lie about your ethnicity, or, you know, let's say you have dual citizenship or nationality or whatever. Like for me, I'm Afghan, and I'm also fucking British, right? So I'm gonna tell girls I'm from the Middle East. Obviously, it's not fucking the Middle East, but guess what? It sounds cooler than saying I'm from fucking one of the shittiest countries in the world that's currently going through fucking war. Or I just tell them Spanish for that matter. These girls are dumb. They don't know. At the end of the day, you're just trying to sell them a fantasy to falsify your status. Because unless you come across a girl that speaks the native language, then you're f***ed. But these girls are all good. You can tell from their profile where they're from, unless you're a Anyway, the novelty effect is just absolutely huge, and it's something that a girl will actually choose a guy over more than looks sometimes. I've stolen plenty of girls from guys that looked better than me, despite them, being handsome. What I wanted was novelty and appeal from being different. So as you can see, that is what we did here, and that is where that frame came from. Now, what we start going into is we might have to take you back with us, and as you can see, she says, "Ooh, please do." So now the status and interest is being built, and this is when sexual ascension begins. So what we do is we focus on the theme of traveling together and taking her back to us with Texas, selling the fantasy of Disney princess, as you can see over here. The Disney princess little lie that every girl wants to be told. Then the sexual ascension, as you can see over here, begins with, "I have to get you to sit on my lap instead." And obviously we gave her a sarcastic comment of fit her on the suitcase. Guys, let's be fucking not retarded here. She's not going to fit in the suitcase unless you want to get stopped at the airport, right? And for some stupid reasons. So this is why we forced her to pretty much choose either the option of go in the suitcase. She's not dumb. She understands that she has to sit in the lap. And of course, she's complying with that, showing high interest. That is exactly how you play it. And what we do next is we see it in the idea of being a dominant daddy, and we call her a good girl, as you can see, and she responds to that really well, and we say, "Might have to reward you." This is a common theme as well, by the way, this whole relationship garbage of, "Oh, sit on my lap when we travel so we don't have to pay £10 extra because I'm a brokey," or whatever. Yeah, it's just some cute stuff. Couples love the happy love life struggle or whatever. I don't know, just whatever. Personally, I don't do that shit, but it's, it's girls love it. I pretend to do it on the dates, sometimes sharing a coffee because we don't want to buy two. Some thing you can use on your dates or whatever, free advice. Anyway, let's keep going. So this girl obviously wants to play into the idea of the reward, as you can see over here. The good girl pretty much confirms she's submissive. It's an easy read, because I'll be honest with you guys, most girls are not dominant mummies, okay? It is so obvious. Now, of course, like the good guys, you can see, she took the fucking bait. It's working pretty fucking well. As you can see, now she wants to know what this promised reward is. So this is where we're going to progress into the sexual ascension even harder and start throwing in subtle signs that she has to read in between the lines of. So obviously we start talking about how we're going to get distracted when she sits on our lap. And pretty much they love this idea of playing games rather than the direct approach of, yes, sit on my lap and grind on it straight away. That's too upfront, too bold. You don't want to do that, because as you can see, when you do it in a slow, methodical way and tell her, that we're going to get distracted on the client's lap rather than, just upfront, it sets up a frame and a much hotter, sneaky, forbidden manner of sex. That's why girls love cheating on men, because forbidden love is hot. Whereas for guys, we don't really care about that sort of shit. It doesn't really entertain us. That's why girls love public sex as well, because they want to get caught. It's just what they like biologically, most of them, right? Anyway, once she confirms that she's obviously going with the sexual ascension, it's working well, we can discuss grinding, and then we can, try and push a little bit more forward by saying things like, it'll be hard not to, especially if you start grinding. Again, we kept it indirect. We didn't boldly tell us you should do it or whatever. We just said, especially if you do it. Now, this approach, she's slowly opening to the idea of sex even more, and that is exactly what we want, because it's just showing that, we're working our way in without pushing too hard, because you don't want to come off as too bold. Now, of course, like a good girl, she provides her social medias very quickly with no problems at all, and that's how you know you have momentum with a girl, when she gives it herself. Now, a lot of you are thinking, this is a fucking easy conversation, Deni. This doesn't happen to me. You're right. This conversation is easy. It's on the fucking dating apps. Your conversations on the dating apps should be relatively easy most of the time. The real problem where she becomes a bitch is on WhatsApp, because a lot of you clearly get flaked on after you get the girl's number, as we did over here, because we went for the number. Instagram and Snapchat, we're not geeks or dorks. So then we progress onto the WhatsApp, as you can see over here. Now, this is where the bitchy side really comes out. This is the struggle that most guys go through. So here's the opener post Tinder. We start the conversation with the classic, what am I saving your contact as on over here, Mia, and we want to establish status over her by creating a nice way to flirt with her and a solid opening. It works immediately. So as you can see, she responds with wife over here. So it's pretty much now we're going to challenge her and say to her, well, we're going to save you as potential wifey for the time being, because we want to try and make her work for it. Now, this is where the ego comes in, and this is when you're going to start seeing things get difficult. We try and flip it back onto her as well, and this is when things, like I say, just go really bad. She was probably on her fucking period. We said to her, what will we save you as? So yeah, pretty much her period poos start going crazy. She's like, number won't be saved until I know it's worth saving. So yeah, this is pretty much where you're going to see how to deal with a difficult girl. So we call her out on her attitude, but we also do it gracefully by playing onto her frame, saying that we will convince her regardless, as you can see over here. So yes, it was a hard hit from us. We are, you know, doing something very bold. We're telling her that she's a bitch, but we soften the blow by saying that, you know, we'll make it worth it to her. And then we throw in a nice little first trap, which you'll see down below over here, that we helped our guy take. And, you know, we helped him improve his physique and get lean, because we do also transformations for the guys that we work with in terms of looks. If you're looking to do that, you should look at our website. We go into a little bit more detail. Anyway, this is when things get frustrating, because obviously she sticks to her bitchy frame, disregards the first trap, and sometimes girls are just difficult as part of the fucking game. You're just gonna have to use these tactics I'm showing you over here, because this is just what it takes sometimes to get girls. So now we move on to the next part of the strategy, trying to get a picture of her to pretty much get something for her profile picture. So as you can see, she says, well, when I save your number, she's sticking to that frame. This is the king of bitches, bro. Like, sorry, the queen of bitches. This is like just high level bitch texting. Anyway, we're just going to try and get a picture of her, and we just say to her, I don't disappoint as well. She further validates us by saying good, as you can see over here. So obviously things are going well. She clearly wants to link. She clearly wants pounded, right? You know, she clearly wants to get. Anyway, she sends a picture of herself. This sparks conversation back in our favor. That's kind of obviously what we're looking for. That's good. So here's what we're going to do, and we're going to progress. We're going to go into banter as well over here. So we started to play into her ethnicity here, because she looked like a suntan final boss, right? She looks even Pakistani, I would say. And she looks like the kind of girl that gets picked up in Bradford by some cuzzy in RS3 every night, you know? So we just made a little bit of a joke about that. And we also tried to, you know, keep the focus on a date as well, because that is the initial goal. Turns out she is a white girl, so this is where we're going to start bullying the out of her. And we try to obviously, you know, play around her replies being low energy. The best way to do that is to spark her emotional balance and her up mentally. So we do that by telling her that we're disappointed her tan is fake and our babies won't be tanned. So that means that we are now creating exotic foreign appeal, because our client has something she does not. Now this does not work very well with her emotionally, but that's good. That's what we want. We want to mentally and destroy her ego, because that's what we're doing. So as we continue with the banter processor side of things, she pretty much just says, oh, I'm just naturally tanned. My ass crack, you're not naturally tanned. You look like a sunbed abuser. I'm sorry, but this literally looks like a sunbed abuser. Anyway, that isn't fine by me. I'm naturally tanned because I'm handsome and Afghan, and I'm also British, so win-win for me. And I'm also German as well, so yeah, I'm winning. Anyway, moving on, we're going to pretty much try and see what we can do and play on it, and we're going to start talking about the sunbeds again and hit on it. She gets ridiculously defensive. She's like, I don't go on sunbeds ever. It's bad for me. Shut the fuck up. I don't actually care. My client doesn't care. We're just gonna you and leave you, right? You know, that's exactly what a client's going to do. And people only defend what they're insecure about. She's clearly insecure. Like, if a girl just insulted me, bro, and just be like, okay, then whatever. I'm not going to let my cortisol get spiked, because I don't care. I have more money than you and I look better than you, and I'll replace you the next day over. Like, it really does not bother me. Like, I literally drive your dad's yearly salary, bro. Like, you know, you can't say anything to me. Like, and that's the mindset you should have. Like, that's how you should act. Like, I literally drive this girl's dad's yearly salary, bro, as my daily. Anyway, moving on. Over here, this is what we start doing. We just start framing her as the little bitch, as you know she is. She goes, well, I haven't, and we just obviously dismissed her saying, sure. Now progressing over here, the bitch rage starts to really begin. She answers the question. Obviously, we said to her, where did you go? Because we want to change the conversation. We realized, oh, we're probing a bit too hard. She says, oh, you're a weirdo for that. What are you doing? Now, obviously, we did not lose her fully, but it clearly is getting her a little bit pissy, right? You know, she's clearly not happy, as you can see over here. She's saying you're a weirdo and this and whatnot. And she just really wants to defend the idea that sunbeds are bad. Like, I'll be honest with you, no one gives a fuck. She must be on her period, because no way she wasn't. Like, the way she's acting is ridiculous. Like, who the fuck cares if you use sunbeds? No one cares. At the end of the day, you're not fucking chopped, so who the fuck cares? Like, we're talking to you. Clearly my client wants to sleep with you. But of course, they have to defend themselves, and they have to defend their life, you know, or whatever. Their little fucking sunbed addiction. Anyway, we just keep teasing her and tell her, don't burst a blood vessel, it's jokes. And she responds with more crybaby energy, as you can see over here. We try and soften the blow, and we try to make it, you know, work. Now, of course, she validates our client by telling him to, you know, fucking move on from the topic, as you can see over here. She's like, oh, can we please move on? You're really cute. This is thanks to our Instagram profile setup, and like I said, improving his looks and everything. And this is going to hold our value up by thumbsing up her message. We just move away from the topic, because at this point in time, she's clearly upset and not happy about it. We're pushing boundaries that she's not okay with. Now we continue the cocky approach over here, and we're like making exceptions for me. How cute. So this is pretty much where we take a fucking mile. She gives us an inch, we take a mile, gentlemen, because this is how we fucking take status from a girl and belittle her and make her our property. So now we're making pretty much comments about her making exceptions. We're being arrogant, and she says, don't make me regret it. She's trying to hold her frame, and she's saying, please daddy, don't make me regret it. I'm a little bitch for you. It's really straightforward and simple stuff. Anyway, that's how you fucking use the cocky arrogance play. Don't go too far with it, because you can push the girl away. Just because she's given you an inch and you've taken a mile, don't try and take 10 miles more, because there are fucking limits. Even doormats fucking get worn out over time. So we pretty much tell her, don't worry, I'll make it up for it in person, because at the end of the day, we want the date more than anything else. We don't really care about making this girl feel insecure or miserable. The whole point of me saying all of this is just to build interest and mess with her emotional balance. Yes, I would like to talk to girls like normal human beings, but they clearly want to play games. So I'm going to play games that she's not able to. I'm going to beat her and get my client results, because that's what I do. Anyway, now we're pushing for the date. As you can see over here, we're setting up a schedule. We're getting some real shit going. She wants it. She's saying you better set a date. This is high interest. This is exactly the type of shit that you fucking want. This is when a girl is definitely into you, and at this point in time, you have to be a retard to not fucking, you know, capitalize on that. And she clearly has nothing going better on in her life. As you can see, she says, I'm pretty free. I only go to the gym most of the time. That's just fucking a sign of the fact that her life isn't very interesting outside of, you know, the gym. That's it. Anyway, we just fucking play on the gym couple factor again, you know, just selling the dream, guys. And we just set a day saying I'm free tomorrow or the day after. She says tomorrow works perfectly, and we need to put our couple thing to the test or whatever garbage. Anyway, she confirms a date. It works really well for us, obviously, so far. She says tomorrow is perfect. We obviously keep framing novelty, and we obviously just start talking about cocktails. As you can see over here, we mention a dress code as well, suggesting the venue is something exotic. She wants to obviously go for drinks. Good read from us. Thankfully, she's not one of those girls that doesn't drink. You know, it's kind of hard to go out with a girl that doesn't drink, but oh well, whatever. Not a big deal. We have strategies for that as well. Moving on, we play into the status of even having a car here. As you can see, we say to her, I hope you're a good passenger princess. And we obviously want to frame the whole daddy dominant side of things. Obviously, I'm going to put daddy dominant here for that, to show you guys, you know, what that means. So pretty much she's confirming she's a submissive good girl. We already knew that earlier because we fucking called her a good girl on Tinder. And she's saying that she's also cute as well. So it's just submissive fucking daddy dominant energy. That's the kind of fucking conversation that's going towards. And then what we do is we'll see tomorrow, won't we? And she says, as long as you don't drive like you have 9 lives. So this is obviously a trauma indicator, suggesting that she had some retard take her on a date and drive with her. Now, when I was younger, I used to do stupid stuff like that as well. Not going to get into that story. You've probably heard it a million times on the channel already. But yeah, let's keep progressing. So what we do here is we start building comfort. We tell her, don't worry, I'm not a shitty driver. And we just fucking insult people that drive like that over here. And then we also say we won't put our life in danger, creating a protection framework. As you can see, we're creating the idea that we're going to protect her, and she loves it. Now, we want to move away from this topic because you don't want to dwell too long on the topic, because it dries out and it leads to conversations fizzling out. So what we do is we focus on her music privileges and whether she's allowed to connect to the CarPlay. And she starts saying, oh, my playlist is really great and this and that. She's just seeking validation. And we pretty much say to her, we'll have to see if your playlist is good. This is setting up us for the date really well for our client at the very least. The reason why I did this is because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get something going on the date, because when she goes on that date tomorrow, or, you know, she already did go on that date, right? But you get what I'm saying. She's going to be like, oh, do you remember we said that you're going to listen to my musical playlist? She's going to bring that up herself. She's going to want to connect, and my client's going to be able to flirt with her and use that. And she obviously is going to want to show her that. And then lastly, the last message you can see is we just confirm the date, which means that it's all set and done and everything just works out as planned, as we, you know, wanted everything to be, as you can see over here. So then this brings us to number 3, Ruby, another girl. This girl is incredibly retarded. So her bio says, I'm a resting bitch face, and I am at quite, I don't remember what the rest of it says. She has still figuring it out. This conversation made my brain hurt. Anyway, the best way to deal with low IQ girls pretty much is to treat them like children with sub IQ in subhuman brain cells, right? She's just a subhuman. So what we started with is, you're my gym wifey now, Ruby. We pretty much opened her with something solid, and it's based on her profile. And then this is when it all begins. She says, oh, am I? this is when you know it gets bad. So at this point, our goal is to keep the conversation simple and assume our message was solid and she keeps replying, which means that she's interested. If a dumb girl is still replying and her replies are bad, it just means that she's dumb, not that she doesn't want you. So we state the obvious by calling out saying, are you not wifey? As you can see over here. Then what we're going to do is progress into simple, straightforward messages she can brainlessly reply to with subhuman intellect. As you can see, she says, silly question, that is. This is subhuman intellect. When you talk to people with beast brains, you want to fucking talk to them like they're a beast. You want to be like, hello, are you interested? Do you want to go on a date? You need to talk to them like a retard. So that's the best way I can do it. So what we do over here is we say, I'm sure you're pretty on a date. We're validating her, saying that, you're going to be wifey on the date, aren't you? She says probably yes. She's trying her best here with her intellect. She's doing what she can. And like I said, keep it simple for the IQ retarded girls. So what we do next is we start saying, I might introduce you to my mother. So what we're doing is we're changing topics to see if she can actually hold a conversation, and she's a sociable human being. Now she is having some trouble pretty much trying to work around this conversation, and we're trying to give her an opportunity. Unfortunately, as a guy, you do have to lead conversations with retards. She says serious stuff that, and her subhuman brain is just doing her absolute best, and a generic reply comes out at that. Sometimes, guys, you just got to fucking be the smarter person in the room and lead. So yeah. Anyway, from here on, our job is pretty much to keep it simple. Don't let our cortisol get spiked. We just want to keep leading the conversation because that's the best thing we can do. And we said, of course, well, if you're my wifey, that will have to happen, stating the obvious. And we just validate her saying that our client's mum will like her. Guys, do not introduce girls like this to your mum, please. I'm begging you. Okay? It's all fantasy joke. If my son brought home a low intellect fucking girl like this, I would genuinely be disappointed in him. If you're sleeping with girls like this on a hookup or one night stand, fair enough. I sleep with some retarded girls here or there that can't even fucking put two sentences together, right? But do not make them your girlfriend because it's going to rub off on you. And she keeps taking the interest and it's working quite well. She's giving the best reply possible from her brain, and we just want to keep it simple, and we just say to her, my mum will like you because it's just a hunch and we'll have to take you on a date first. We're just fucking framing it back to the date, which is the real goal that we want, guys, right? And of course, the whole idea of it just being a hunch is we don't want to explain it because it'll be too complicated for her. Do not explain it to girls like this. You're going to confuse the fuck out of the poor creature, I'm telling you. Again, she's doing her best to hold a conversation to the best of her abilities. I commend her for that. She's saying, obviously, that was a very complicated word for her to, put together. So fair play. Her words are not fucking low interest. It's a sign of low IQ. Because as you can see over here, when I says, so does wifey like cocktails? She says, of course I do. Silly question. So of course, she's double texting. She was able to come up with a solid combination of letters and words from the English dictionary over here. Congratulations. Impressive work from her. I wonder how she put that together, but whatever. We treat her like a child, and we pretty much congratulate her, saying to, silly seems to be your favorite word, her. And she says it is my favorite. More like she just doesn't know any other adjectives or nouns, and her limited vocabulary is holding her back massively. So what we need to is just keep dumbing it down because she's fucking dumb. That's it. It's as simple as that. Don't overcomplicate things. Anyway, we keep the energy focused on a date, and she responds really well, which shows the interest is there because she goes as far as fucking asking where we're from, because that's a good sign. It shows that there's something there. The missing piece is just intelligence. Now, the answer to that, guys, and you're wondering what it is you do with girls like that, is to fill the gap for her and have all of the intelligence in this conversation, because the poor thing is trying her best, and she does her best to show interest in his life and where he's from. Now, of course, like a fucking real guy, we lead the conversation. We say to her that we're from Austria. So as you can see, we create exotic and foreign appeal here, the usual that we've been speaking on this video that you've been learning so far, a common theme, and we lead naturally as we're more educated in the English language and socializing by telling her that we're from somewhere that is really cool, Austria, right? Not really that cool, to be honest with you, but to girls it is. Anyway, she says, oh, cool. She's trying her best. She gives oh, cool. A for effort, guys. She probably doesn't know where that is, and you'll see what happens next. It's pretty fucking bad. Anyway, we progress into a bold task of teaching her German, or Austrian dialect, right? Austrian, whatever. German dialect, you get the point. We're doing this to create exotic appeal and status. We're not going to fucking teach her German when she can barely fucking speak English. Please do not take this literally. God forbid whoever had to teach her English. I would not attempt to teach her German, and I hope my client didn't actually go on a date and genuinely try and teach her German. As a matter of fact, I'll ask him that after this video for you guys. Moving on to the dumb girl conversation. She says, what language? Ha ha ha. And since girls love being taught, we want to frame it around that and the idea of teaching her. And we say to her Austrian. This is a German dialect, right? And over here, what you're going to learn is patience is a virtue. Sometimes you just have to deal with the dumb replies. If you can win her over by using your brains, she will give you her heart. She'll fall in love with you, as you'll see later on. Now, holy fuck, my brain actually had an aneurysm. She said Austrian, a German dialect, is not different to English. Bro, my cortisol when I saw this message was like, bro, it just went fucking, it just spiked. Like, I swear to God, I had to contemplate life when I read this. Sometimes I just fucking see messages from girls. I'm like, oh, I've seen this on a daily basis. This is normal for me now. No, it's fucking not, bro. Sometimes there are some messages girls say that genuinely confuse me. Oh, she fucking, obviously, we took a good guess. We assumed that she thought Austria and Australia are the same thing. She pretty much confirms that, you know, that's what she was thinking. And it is not the fucking same thing. We correct her behavior and we play onto it and we just joke and mention some fucking famous Austrian painter. Not going to say that on the YouTube platform or whatever. And this is a bold idea from obviously us. I don't know why we even attempted to talk about the famous Australian painter when she probably doesn't even know her fucking dad's last name. You know, like it was quite bold. History lessons with her must have been difficult in school. Anyway, with the dumb girls continuing, obviously, what we're going to do is we're going to play into the idea of making Aryan babies together. This was probably a bad idea, but we just wanted to get a sexual ascension going because, you know, Aryan babies is a little bit too complicated of a topic for a subhuman brain. So yeah, that was, you know, a bit risky, but it doesn't fucking matter because it works. We tried to joke around it with genetics and a little bit of banter. She does try her absolute best to comprehend what we're saying, as you can see. You know, she's like, why is it so bad? And then obviously we say something like, my grandparents were proud. She says, that's sad. You know, she's taking it a little bit too literally. She's just a bit dumb. And then we say, oh, I'm just messing with you, silly. So yeah, you know, we kind of fucking made a little bit of joke. She was taking it a bit too serious. She doesn't really like the idea of us calling her gullible, as you can see over here, because we just fucking took the piss out of her a little bit. And she goes, wow, you're funny, aren't you? Now what we're going to do is we're going to hold frame and say to her, I know I'm a real comedian, right? And I'm even better in person. So we're just, you know, sticking to our guns. She's submissive. You don't really need to, you know, give up as much comfort and framing, you know, status to a girl like this because she isn't really, you know, playing, you know, the levels Mia was playing or Liv at the start. Anyway, what we're going to do now is make an obvious suggestion. Only one way for you to find out what we're doing is we're seeding the date. We're trying to push for that. And as you can see, her brain was able to calculate and decipher that we need to talk on another platform. Over here, she actually took initiative. As you can see, she fucking says, let's talk on Instagram. And this shows that she has 50 IQ potentially. Now, whether she has that or not, I don't know. Maybe my client should go on a nice little date with her and do an IQ test together. That'll probably be a good idea. Hopefully he doesn't have children with her because that's going to doom his bloodline. Anyway, it's not too bad. She tries to get us her IG, but we want the number because it's high status and it's better framing. So as you can see over here, she sends her IG. We don't fucking want that shit in this situation because we want to get the IG and number. Okay, so we say to her, we barely use it and fucking number works better for me. She says, So what we're going to do is you want to go on the date, right? So what we're doing is we're reminding her of obviously the objective. She clearly wants it. She's fucking committed a lot of brain points to this conversation with her low brain. And as you can see, she says, let's do Insta first. We say to her, no number, no date. Because we say to her, I barely use it. You want to go on a fucking date, right? And she goes, maybe. Then I said, well, then send me your number, silly. And as you can see, we got the fucking number, bro. It was really easy. And guys, just to teach you one thing from this conversation with this girl over here, fucking Ruby, you need to understand with submissive girls, you just have to talk to them like they're subhumans and lay out the facts, hold the status, lead her, tell her no date, no number, and get it out of her by using facts and tactics. You can't really fucking, you know, give up too much status with these girls because these girls, they're dumb, bro. You know, if you lose your status with them, they'll find you less attractive. Whereas like a bitch like Mia, of course, you know, you're going to need to play a little bit into her frame. But so here's the fucking result with this Ruby girl, as you can see over here. Something nice, easy, and light work. Hopefully my client didn't use any brain cells. I should probably check in on him and see how he's doing mentally. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Anyway, moving on. If you liked what you fucking saw, click here and you can see how I smashed 3 girls on Tinder from my messages and my profile and Max's. Now, these were a lot more, you know, high interest girls, obviously. So they were a little bit more crazier conversations. Some of them were bitches as well. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I attract those types of girls too. So anyway, if you want us to do the texting for you, obviously, or you want to end up in a video like this, or you want to have me review your text messages, you can drop us a message down below on your WhatsApp. You know where to find us. You know how to contact us. We can do the texting for you. We can manage your account. We can set up your Instagram, your Tinder, your Hinge, your Bumble, whatever it may be, iMessage or WhatsApp. We're the masters at this. We're the GOAT. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As you can see, this is the life, bro. You know what to do. You know where to find us, bro.